Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. There's a lot of people who have asked me, do I feel regret for the video that I did, the 1 hour long video on Linus Tech Tips? And I will say that I have some deep regret. I stand behind everything that I said in that video. The problem was the presentation. That video was 1 hour. It should have been 3 to 5 minutes, 20 seconds if I talk at my normal speed. And because I made it the way that I did, because I'm such a bad content creator, the people that really need to hear that message because they're stuck in these types of relationships in their own personal lives won't have heard it. And that's on me. I feel horrible about that. I was responding and I was aggravated at this particular pattern, which is that there is a perceived slight to one's self-image. There is deflection of accountability and responsibility. There is a reversal of victimhood, then followed by public punishment. And anybody who's been in this shit before will likely understand it when I explain it and go through it. And what really bothered me when I saw this. It follows a particular pattern that others like to call DARVO, which is deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. The Steve Burke situation. So the perceived slight to the self-image was the video that he did that forced Linus's hand into that apology video in summer of 2023. And then comes the deflection. This stopped being about what Linus did and turned into nitpicky details on how Steve reported what he did. A right to reply is a thing, and it does exist. I gave an example of it in that video. Here, my opinion was this was right to deflect. And then it turns into the public punishment. Linus did a stream where the word morality showed up on screen. He's reading what the word morality means. He shows a text message on stream and says that Steve never replied to it. And what he doesn't mention is that he sent this to the wrong phone. Steve was doxxed several years ago. He got a new phone. He took that phone, just threw it in a drawer, and didn't use it. For several years, Linus had been texting Steve on the new phone number. And then the one text message that he sends that he's going to put on stream a year later, that the one text message that's going to make Steve look bad for not replying to it, the one text message that ends up in a stream where Linus is reading the definition of the word morality to imply that Steve does not live up to this, is the text message that he sent to the wrong phone. This is punishment. And anybody who has experienced this particular type of punishment from somebody that follows these things, perception about self-image, deflection and responsibility and accountability, reversing victimhood, and then public punishment to whoever it is slighted their self-image, you have that same pit in the feeling in your stomach when you see that shit. I'm not Don Draper's character from that White Christmas episode of Black Mirror. I can't take him and put him into a cookie and do some time dilation shit and sit there in a cabin to extract a confession on why, of every fucking text message you guys have had back and forth for years, the one text message that's going to make him look bad if he doesn't reply got sent to the wrong phone that you knew he didn't look at. If you grew up dealing with this shit, you know. If I told everybody uninstall Honey, an extension that supposedly gets them a better deal because I wasn't making enough money from it, do you really? Honestly, ask yourself, truly, do you think that would have went well for me? There's just no way I make that and don't end up hanging from the nearest tree. If somebody is willing to scam me, they may be willing to scam my neighbor. I don't have to know if they've scammed my neighbor yet. I know they have scammed me. And I would like to make a choice for myself as to whether or not to trust them. The deflection of accountability and then the reversal of victimhood. They would have hung me from the nearest tree. It's a phrase that I've heard him use many times before. But the part that's important to focus on is the public punishment. We don't shout it from the rooftops every time you stop working with a sponsor, and neither does anybody. That's such a weird, bizarre expectation that some people seem to have. Do you expect the NFL to replace Monday Night Football with a 3-hour special about not using Surface tablets anymore when the sponsorship ends? Of course not. This analogy is so far off from what people would have asked for, which is a 90-second video going over this, that it serves to make the viewers that asked this of him to look ridiculous publicly. If you created that perceived slight towards his image, you must be punished. And the way you're punished is by taking your legitimate concerns and making them look ridiculous. The warranty situation, saying that we've always worked this out before, turning it into an issue rather than just saying, oh yeah, my bad. Right warranty policy, my bad, on website, boom. Instead of that, it really did turn into this back and forth with the audience, that perceived slight towards his image. And then it went into this deflection of any business can screw you if they want to anyway. And then the public punishment, making merchandise that mocks the people in the audience that care about consumer protection. You've been watching his channel for 3 or 5 or 8 or 10 years, and you were the person that brought up make the written thing without all this other drama on the side. You were being mocked with that shirt. Every time somebody bought that shirt in his audience, it was almost a reflection that, man, even the people that watch, like you, even other viewers think that yours is ridiculous. It was punishment. We are all deeply flawed people. The thing is, this particular set of flaws is a set of flaws that also comes with a very special set of skills. The skills of persuasion, the skills of image management, and the skills of cultivating large groups of people that will hang on to and believe highly in everything you say. They'll believe highly in you. The way you win when dealing with people who punish you in this way is not convincing others that you are the good guy, because you can't do that. It's not trying to accept their premise, because they're measuring you by a yardstick that they don't measure up to you themselves. You care so much about right to reply that you sent a text message that you are putting on stream as you read that this person is immoral to the wrong fucking phone number. Show me how much you care about right to reply. I've dealt with this too. I was punished for 17 years. I went over that in this video. The person who did this, man, she really did not want to have a kid. And she made sure in every single instance to remind as many people as possible just how horrible that person was. I'm 2 years old and I'm listening to this shit and I'm like, how did I do this? Like I'm 2. I can barely speak, and somehow. And the weirdest part of the entire thing was the deflection of accountability for your decision. The reversing of victimhood to the point where literally people in her life would actually look at this and feel bad for the person that was screaming at me, rather than feeling bad for the kid that was getting screamed at all the time by the person that doesn't want to admit that you made a mistake when she died, of there being a note next to her after she did it. I was the one who found her. And it was a note blaming me for the whole thing. I took the thing and I threw it out. Nah, nice try. You did the whole punishing thing for 17 years. Yeah, you don't get to keep doing it. The extent people that have this particular list of traits will go through to continuously punish anybody that cuts against their own self-image, the extent that they go through to deflect accountability and responsibility, it's really something that you have to have experienced firsthand in order to spot that shit. And when you do, you just can't unsee it. The way that you win is by getting back the person you were before the punishment started, by remembering who you were. I know people have messaged Steve and said, you've changed. I've noticed you've changed over the past year and a half. Go back to who you were before. I don't care how many people that I piss off by doing a video like this. I don't care how many people review bomb my business on Google with 1-star reviews that are not real customers. I don't care if I look bad as a result of doing it. If one person watching this video notices this pattern in their own personal life, with a parent, with a friend, with a significant other, with a girlfriend, with a boyfriend, with a boss, and goes, I'm good. Anybody who's lived through that shit, when you see it, you can't unsee it. And it makes you sick. To send that message to the wrong phone when you know the number, and then go on for 1 year to talk about right to reply, that's a message. That's a punishment. I'm going to get you. And I'm going to get you by doing the same thing to you, and nobody's going to believe you. I hope he goes back to being the dude he was before, to writing the way he did before, to presenting himself the way he did before. I hope anybody that's dealt with this particular pattern, those little 4 things in a circle in their own personal life, I hope they see it for what it is. It's really difficult to walk down that journey of going back to the person you used to be. Get started. Had to get that off my chest.